On October 2018, Hurricane Michael came through the panhandle of Florida, and Tyndall Air Force Base suffered a direct hit.
We had to figure out how to rebuild an installation from the ground up. We had to calculate it both ways. We had to calculate it to rebuild it, and then another team at the time calculated a cost to close it. And believe it or not, the two were almost the same.
Tyndall Air Force Base had vital missions tied to the National Defense Strategy before Hurricane Michael. Those missions will continue to function throughout the rebuild. And the rebuild itself is intended to rebuild Tyndall Air Force Base back to being able to fully accomplish those missions in state-of-the-art facilities. Tyndall Air Force Base has the mandate that we're going to rebuild it as the base of the future.
It has amazing technologies in this rebuild. An Installation Resilience Operations Center, where in one building, a commander can walk in and understand not only the health of an airfield, but also the health of the installation's critical infrastructure.
We've established the DoD's first active shooter program, and I think it's an opportunity for us to really test this system, understand how it works. We're developing one of the first facility predictive maintenance capabilities within the Air Force. We've developed the first digital twin of a campus.
The digital twin is new Tyndall built electronically. So it's a complete electronic copy of the physical infrastructure that you're seeing being built now. So let's say this Tyndall digital twin does everything we need it to do. We can run a hurricane through it. Our defenders can use it for active shooter response planning. The OTA allows you then to award a subsequent contract for what's called production. So we could go and create digital twins across the entire Air Force with it. So I think that's a great example of how we can propagate the innovations here in this rebuild across all our air bases.
We have joint bases where we have Air Force and Army or Air Force and Navy side by side. So very common sets of needs. And so, looking at how that information not only supports the local level, but we also are looking at that bigger picture to be able to say, hey, how does senior leadership need to know what the status of an individual installation is? These ideas are certainly compelling and useful to the other services as well.
The other part of the base of the future, which is to ensure that the base is resilient to that next Cat 5 hurricane or to that threat, whatever it may be.
All of the new buildings will be built to at least 165 mile an hour wind load. Some of them are going to be built to 170 miles an hour. The next time a 162 mile an hour hurricane comes through, the intention is for all of those buildings to be just fine and us to the next day sweep up the dirt and go along.
Technology that we're working with here, that we're exploring in the Tyndall rebuild, there are potential applications across the Air Force for some of it. We're a proving ground for a lot of the things that we're working on here.
In addition, there was a presidential decision made to bed down F-35 squadrons here, the new 5th-gen aircraft for the Air Force.
One of the truly amazing things about this organization and the opportunity that we have here is that allowed us to solve problems in a way that normally a long-standing organization would be unable to do, because the processes and the way that we solve these problems was really up to us. And in our mind, that's truly in the spirit of the Chief's Accelerate, Change, or Lose. And it's truly in the spirit of overcoming bureaucracy, because the only bureaucracy we had at the time that I got here was that with which we created.
Technology is really a huge component of the rebuild of Tyndall, and I think to me it's the key to making this the installation of the future that we know it's going to be. It makes me feel very optimistic that our government could come together to respond to something like this and have it result in the successful outcome that I know we're going to see.